Welcome to H2K Infosys. H2K Infosys is a e-verify business based in Atlanta, Georgia, United States. We provide 100% job-oriented, instructor-led, face-to-face, true live online software training programs. It also includes access to cloud test lab with software tools. We provide live project for you to work on. We also provide assistance with mock interviews, resume preparation and review, and job placement assistance. H2K Infosys is trusted by so many students across the world. H2K Infosys provides world-class services in IT training with real-time project work for corporates and individuals, special IT training for MS students in the United States, software design, development, QA manual and automation, performance testing and maintenance, IT staff augmentation, job placement assistance, and tech support.
Okay, anybody have any questions from last class? Did you guys practice test lab? Not test, not test lab, test plan. Do you guys have any questions from that? Okay, if you're good, then that's good. We'll go further. Okay, today we'll complete both test lab and defects, okay, both the modules. As we know that we have 4 modules in that requirement test plan we already covered. Today we are going to talk about test lab. What are the things we can do in test lab? Okay, the test scripts are executed in this module, whether it is a manual or automation. This is where we are going to execute our test cases. Okay, each step is assigned a pass or fail status. Okay, we can earlier how we used to do manually, how we used to execute the test cases in the Excel sheet, read the test steps. If it is go to the application, execute it, it works fine, say pass or fail, right? So here automatically we no need to write pass or fail based on our steps, the execution, the system itself, the QC itself, it say pass or fail. Okay, other than that we have some other status also like not completed or no run. Okay, I will explain in detail what are those while explaining the test execution. Then manual as well as automated testing is possible. As I said, we can execute both manual scenarios and automation scripts too using QC. Next is Quality Center accommodates automated testing tool like Windrunner, QTP, and LoadRunner. We can integrate automation tools like QTP, Windrunner, and LoadRunner with QC so that we can store our scripts and also we can execute our script how manually we do, same thing, everything we can do for automation scripts also. Okay, in QC. These are the things we will do in test lab. We'll cover defects also because I'm going to cover both the stuff today. Okay. In the defect module, what are the things we can do? Defects are entered in this module. How we manually used to do, like manually go and execute. If it is failed, go to the defect tracking tool and write what are the things why it is failed. But here there is no need to go to defect tracking tool. We have inbuilt defect tracking tool is available in QC. Okay. Then essentially testers have complete access to the module because test engineers like we have access for all these modules. Okay, so that in the defect module also we have access, go and create a new defect. Next is all the fields on the defects window should be entered prior to submitting in order to ensure proper simulation by developers. So we have to because entering defects is very important because that shows that the developers what they have to fix it, right? So we need to enter in detail what are the things we need. Why this application is not working? What is the severity of this defect? Okay, and what are the steps to reproduce? Okay, and if you have any screenshot, we can attach it. So all the detailed things we have to mention in the while writing the defect. Defect should be linked back to the test cases and script which they were discovered. We can link the defect. That's what I was talking. Other day I showed you like a test execution matrix, right? Requirement like how we have RTM. Same way here, like in QC we have inbuilt RTM. Automatically we can link defect to the respective test case. Okay. So these are the main, just I want to explain these two slides before going to the practical part. So anybody have any questions? What we do in the test lab and defect modules? Okay. Saujanya, she wants to know defect one more time. Yes. Okay. What are the in the defect module is nothing but like how we manually we raise a defect. Okay, we'll go to if we while executing the test cases, if we find any defect, okay, so that time manually you will go to defect tracking tool and mention all the things like summary, test data, and what are the steps to reproduce and attach some screenshots, all those things. Okay. So same thing we can do in QC, Quality Center. It is the defect management, in the test management tool, we have defect tracking also. And along with that, we can fix the defect with the test cases, like which test case has a defect, we can fix it. So we can do the traceability matrix also in QC. Got it? Okay, Lubna, it is nothing much, emails. I just explaining like one who joined late. I was just explaining what test lab and defect modules are gonna do. Okay, before starting the practical session. That's it. Okay. Okay, this is the as you know we are in the requirement module now. Okay, this is very simple. Now we'll go to test lab. Yesterday means from last week we have created a new requirement as a T-Mobile and valid login as a child requirement. In the test plan we created a couple of test cases. Okay, with parameterization, all those stuff. Okay, now I hope you guys are good till there. Next is test lab. This is where the execution. Now the release is coming. The people say that okay, we get a release next week. Or tomorrow we are getting a new build. We need to execute all the regression test cases. So what you have to do, they will call for a meeting and they say in what type we have to maintain a QC folders, because now, for example, Hema, she will come and she will create her own folder and own name, and Jyoti, she will come and create her own folder. So it make a mess. So usually our test manager, one who is handling the project, he will before any execution, he will set up a guideline saying that this is the pattern you have to create a test case. This is the pattern you have to create a folder structure in test lab. Okay, in that way. So what usually happens, like how they do it? Let me show one of them. See, if you want to create a new folder, go to root and click on this plus sign. Okay, I will say like regression. Regression testing. That is the folder name. That's where we are going to do. Under that, maybe the first cycle of regression. Okay, you can say cycle 1. And if you want, you can give the description. Test window is 6 June to 16 June, something like that. Okay. So now we created the the new folder and the new test set. In this test set, we need to add, okay? We need to add test cases for this cycle 1, okay? In this, we have two options, like we can, two options. One is if it is not enabled, guys, go and click on select test here, okay? For me, automatically it displays this test plan tree. If it is not, go and click on select test tab, okay? So once you click on that, it will list all the different test cases, whatever we stored in the test plan, everything will display on your right side corner. Okay. So here, one way is the same way of like how I showed in the requirement in the test plan module. Same way here, you can double click on it or click on and move like this. Okay. Or click on this and click on this arrow. There are so many ways to move test case, add test case from the test plan tree to test lab, okay, for your test cycle. Otherwise, if you want to add everything, okay, just click on this. T-Mobile folder itself, you click on this. It will ask you a question saying that, do you want to add all the tests under the T-Mobile? And note, only test matches the current filter will be added. This action will add 5 test cases because we have 5 test cases under T-Mobile folder. Do you want to add it? Say yes. So what is this window means? This window represents already you added these 3 test cases. Do you want to add one more time? Okay, you can say create. That's okay because we may execute same test case multiple times with a different test data. Okay, in one of the test case we created the test parameter. Do you remember during test plan? So it is asking you what is the test parameter, with what test parameter we need to execute this scenario. You can enter the password saying that ABC123 and username is ABCD. Okay. So we no, Shri, you didn't miss anything much. Just I'm recording the class and not like I'm just explaining how to add test cases in test lab module. Okay. Okay, guys. Now you can see the requirement tree also here. If you wanna map, okay, for the requirement, whatever you want to do. For this, select and click on this. You want to create for test. It will ask whether you want to add for test. If you had 2 test cases for the 2 same test cases twice in a 2 instance, it will ask, do you want to map for that too? Say yes. Okay. So it is from the requirement tree we can add the test cases, or through the test plan tree we can add the test cases. It's up to you whatever the way you want to add. This is simple as refresh. You guys know this already explained. Okay, this is to find. So once you add, now you have list of test cases you copied from the test plan module. Okay, you already designed the test cases and you stored in test plan. Now you are calling those test cases in test lab. Okay, for what? We need to execute these test scenarios. Okay, now we'll go each tab before going to execution. Okay, this is the execution grid, like the thing like how whatever you are seeing, that is the execution grid. Here we have multiple columns. The plan test name, this is the test name. Plan type is a manual or automation. It is manual because while designing the step, I made this as a manual. And status. Status is no run. Because I have not started execution. That's why it is no run. Okay. Next, if fail means if test case fails, you can change it to fail. NA means not applicable. Okay. In some scenarios, through the automation script, okay, manual test engineer, he can go and say not applicable because he is not gonna execute it. No run, not completed. If you start execution, for example, T-Mobile login, in that, if you have 4 steps, okay, you did that only 2 steps, then somebody like Kalpana, she was executing the test case, T-Mobile test cases. She was in the second step. Then Jyoti will come and say, hey Kalpana, come, we'll go for a coffee. Okay. Then she says, okay, well, I'll come back and I'll execute, and she'll go. Okay, and she'll close the window. So what happens, that time the test execution will be not completed because she is not completed all the steps of the respective test, test case. Okay. If you execute all the test cases, if all the steps are passed, then the status will be passed. This is not required for the manual testing. If it is automation testing, if you're running scripts through QTT, then plant host name is required because this is nothing but your machine name where you are executing your script. Or if you have lab machines, you can mention the machine name here. Okay. Then responsible tester. Here we need to mention your name. Okay. Who, for example, T-Mobile is executed by Alex. Okay, you can enter that. Or TC1 is executed by Michael. Okay, like that you have to enter, like as a test lead, he can add it. Or if you add your own test cases, you can add your name there. And execution date, you don't need to do anything. Once you execute, automatically it display the date on what day, what time you have executed. This display only time. Then planned execution date. Usually, like test leads say, we have to execute all these scenarios on 7th of June. Okay. Then planned execution time. Time it is not required. You can mention, but okay, something like this, 10 a.m. This is just the execution grid. Here also we have same way we can select available columns if you want to add the subject of the test case or designer who designed the test case. We can add that. If you don't want time, you can remove it. So it is similar way we can select the columns whatever you want, or if you want to move the respective column, you can move up and down. Okay. Like this. So plan design is like a plan designer who designed all these test cases. Here we logged in as Alex, so by default it will display his name. So we can see in the real-time scenario, if 5 or 6 test engineers are working together, they create their test case with using their login ID. So their username and password will display. Okay. Aparna's question is, so testers may execute the test cases by other testers too. Do they execute only the reference? No, it need not be Aparna. They can execute other test engineer test cases also if they know how it works. Usually, like in the team, if the lead divides the module saying that, okay, Aparna, she's going to do login. Ganga, she's going to do registration. If they divide like that, they will write their test cases and they will execute in the cycle. In some scenarios, okay, in some regression, what lead will do is he wants to know like how he wants to know like if the test resource missed any defects, so he will mix and match. Why don't you, Aparna, you execute Ganga's test case. Ganga, you execute Aparna's test case. So that one advantage is all the test engineers know everything about the project. Okay, another one is if something Aparna missed, Ganga can find out, or Ganga missed, Aparna can find out. Okay, that is so usually it is allocated for their own module. In some regression cycle, if it's 2 or 3 cycles for the project sake, the lead may do that. It is there. It is possible. It is not like you have to do. What is the general norm is like? Like generally whatever they assign you have to execute. That is the thing. But it depends on the project. Okay. Okay, now we got the execution grid. Now the execution flow. This shows like the pictorial view. Oh, minus something happened. Okay, let's see. The execution flow, something happens while setting up, something happened. I'm not able to process report. I don't want that. Give me a second, guys. Let me close this. Okay. I put maybe some zoom or something. That's the reason it was otherwise. But it's too small, isn't it? Normal is fine. Okay. See, this shows that in what way we have to execute these test cases. Okay. Is it independent, or we can depend some test cases? For example, after login, go and create some customers or something like that. Okay. So as of now, it's showing cycle 1. Under that, all we have like a 5 or 6 test cases. All are independent. We can execute whenever we want. It is not depending on any other. If you wanna move, okay. Otherwise, here we can set up like after executing T-Mobile login, we can execute TC1 or TC2. We can set up all those things. Okay. But is it a child parent? Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Shweta, but in one of the test case we did, I don't know, we did call one test. In one test case, we called the other test case too. Mm-hmm. So I remember that. So why it is not showing, why it is doing the independent thing? Because here I didn't call that test case, right? I'm not, that is calling is different. Okay. Here this is the test case name itself. While executing it will come into the picture. This is the test case name. Within the test case name we must have called. Here the test case name itself, for example, one test case I create as a login. Okay. The second test case I create as a like a logout. So I want to execute my test scenario such a way that once you log in, then you execute logout. So the arrow will from here to here, like this. We can set up. Okay, this is not, this won't show the call function here. That the call function we can see only within the test case, not in the execution flow. The flow represents in what way we want to execute our test case. Okay. So we can change the flow too, like if we want. Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Next is tested properties. Here, for example, like if you wanna, once the test execution is done, automatically if you wanna send mail, like earlier I said, like we can configure the mail setup. If you wanna send mail to your team member or your lead, say automatically once this test case execution is done, send an email. You can set that. Like we have options. Any test execution dialog box finishes the status fail. If test fails, then only you can send the email. Or environment failure. If the environment got some problem, if got crashed, send mail to the infrastructure guys. Okay, you can set up whatever you want. Okay, all the test execution dialog box that were run have finished. If you completed everything, okay, you no need to send email. If you check this box, automatically the result will send it to, if you configure to send such a way that send it to your test lead, then all the test results will go, automatically it will go to your test lead. No need to fill the test flow overnight. That is just an option I showed you. But execution grid is generally we have to fill it because we are adding the test cases there. Test execution flow is for your reference, like how it looks. Just it is a general knowledge. You no need to set it up. If you can set it up if there is any dependency of the test case so that we can set it up. So while executing automatically it will display. For example, after T-Mobile I have to execute TC1. Automatically it will ask you to execute this test case. Okay, this is notification. So sending message saying that okay, test execution completed. Okay. some message, and you can configure the email ID. This configuration is done by QC admin. You have to give your email IDs. He will set up like by your own. You can't just give whatever the email ID. Okay. On failure, for example, these tabs are on failure. Most of the time we use for automation test cases. Okay, not for manual. If you are running any automation script, if it is failed, okay, if you want to re-execute the same test case, or you want to send some message, or you don't want to do nothing, okay, whatever if you want to run multiple times same test cases, how many times you want to run, okay, that we can set up in on failure. Okay, run cleanup test. This is mainly related for automation testing. Okay, we can set up. Rati, what is that? Is it child parent grid? This is not child parent. You are talking about execution grid. Rati, can you please unmute? Okay, this is just a flow. Execution flow, Rati. It is not child parent as such. Why did you mention regression testing? I'm giving a just example. You can mention integration. You can create own cycle, as Reva is asking why I put as a regression testing as a folder. Why don't you system? I'm just showing an example. It depends on the scenario. If you are executing integration testing, you can go and create integration testing as a folder name. Okay. Yeah.
Hello, Shweta. Is it that if you give the script, the execution flow displays by itself, or do we have to give it?
See, by default, no, by default, whatever we put, it automatically shows the execution flow. You can set up, yes. Okay, you can, let me. Okay, you can select and you can do play around, like whether you want to flow along with this, or after this you select and do it. So you can remove this test itself. So many things we can do. Okay, this is just for your information. Like if I set up like this, what happens in cycle 1, execute the T-Mobile valid first, then go to the T-Mobile login. So many things we can do. Okay, this usually we don't work on this. This is just an option for you guys to just know where is the execution flow. Otherwise, everything will do in the execution grid. Okay.
Okay. So if we change this, it's not that execution grid also will be changed, right?
Yes, of course.
Yes.
If I, for example, now see, I will delete. You go and see TC02, right? I don't want to use TC02. I'll just delete it.
So many of our students have given testimonials on how our training programs are. You will find them on kudzu.com and on our website h2kinfosys.com. On our website h2kinfosys.com, you will also find more detailed information on who we are, the courses that we offer, what each course covers. Also, if you're interested in a demo program, please register on our homepage on the left-hand side. Just give us more information about yourself and we will send you a link for a demo class. The demo class is absolutely free. Experience our commitment by just attending an orientation workshop at no cost. Our team of faculty and advisors are here to guide you with the right information. If you still have more questions, please feel free to call us. Call us at 770-777-1269. This is a United States number. If you're calling from the UK, call us at 020-337-17615. You can also email us at training@h2kinfosys.com or h2kinfosys@gmail.com. Thank you for watching our videos. We wish you a great career in information technology.